contractions about 7 minutes apart.
Heading for the hospital.
Now 5 minutes apart.
Preparing for childbirth. Joyful, profound, and often agonizing.
I'm nervous about it.
But does natural childbirth have to be painful? This doctor says no.
They're not pains, they're contractions.
I had them. They're pains. It hurts.
But he says a remarkable technique can make labor easy, even fun. How?
In fact,
Lisa Rudolph follows two couples up to the final fateful day of delivery. Can labor really be pain-free? From Studio 3B in Rockefeller Center, here is Stone Phillips.
Good evening. 4 million women give birth in this country every year, and many of them dream of doing it the so-called natural way, without anesthesia. But often when the agony of labor begins, so does the demand for drugs. Does natural childbirth have to hurt? The answer seems obvious until you see this story. It's about a doctor who says labor can be made easy, even blissful, not through drugs, but through the power of the mind. Here's Lisa Rudolph.
Smile, you're so beautiful. This smile is not bad, is it? It doesn't hurt. Oh, honey.
Okay.
it's one of those givens in life.
Knock me out! Knock me out!
Death,
I'm
taxes,
proud of you, and I love you so much. I hate you.
and the excruciating pain of childbirth.
Hi, everybody. Smile big.
That's the way the movie 9 Months portrayed it. And it's the way anyone who's ever been through labor without medication has probably experienced it. But does it have to be that way? Or could it be like this? This woman is in the throes of childbirth. No medication, no screaming, seemingly no pain.
Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Good girl. Just relax now. Heads up.
Even during the final pushes before delivery. Then, just minutes after calmly giving birth, she gets up from the table and walks out of the delivery room like nothing happened. No, this isn't staged, and she's no actress. She's a patient of this man, Dr. Larry Goldman, an obstetrician-gynecologist in Fort Myers, Florida. Dr. Goldman says there's a better way to get through labor, better than Lamaze, the deep breathing method, better than an epidural, the spinal injection that numbs the lower body. It's a technique more commonly associated with quitting smoking or overeating, hypnosis. Dr. Goldman says he's used hypnosis on more than 1,000 patients with dramatic results. Fewer complications, fewer cesarean deliveries, shorter labor, and less suffering. In fact, he's convinced there's no scientific reason why women should feel such pain.
You experienced labor pain, but actually what was happening is you experienced contractions of the uterus, which you interpreted as pain.
I can hear women all across the country saying, yeah, easy for you to say, you're a man, you've never had it.
That's correct.
I had them. They're pains. It hurts. For myself and for a lot of the other women I know, it's like, hand me the drugs.
If that's what pleases people, then that's fine. And we give this as an option of something you can do different.
Dr. Goldman says hypnosis is about being in control. You're not asleep or unconscious as you might have thought, but alert and very focused, like when you're exercising or engrossed in a movie, tuning out the rest of the world. In fact, he says everyone goes through hypnotic states all the time without realizing it.
We call it daydreaming. We call it automatic driving. Have you ever gotten in the car when you were real upset or real busy? And you may drive all the way home and all of a sudden it dawns on you, you haven't been consciously driving. What's happened is you've focused your conscious attention on something else and your unconscious has done the driving. And that's hypnosis.
Does it work? These two couples wanted to give it a try for very different reasons. Don and Jamie Weiss, first-time parents who approached pregnancy with some hesitation.
First thing I said when the nurse came out and said, well, you're definitely pregnant, I looked at Don and I said, now it's got to come out. It's there, it's got to come out.
And Valerie and Scott Van Fleet, now expecting their second child, who say their daughter Taylor's birth 4 years ago was a nightmare. They, like so many couples, thought Lamaze was all they needed. Did you think, I'm going to go through this delivery, no medication, I'm just going to breathe my way right through?
Until we got there.
But her energy level was so low at that time, she really couldn't do the breathing. So, I mean, it got bad. All the blood vessels in her eyes were broken from the high blood pressure. And she didn't look like the same person.
So this most beautiful experience of the world, not.
Was not.
Took us 4 years to get over that, to even think about another one.
Any problems?
Dr. Goldman has been an OBGYN for more than 2 decades. He first heard about hypnosis for childbirth shortly after medical school and decided to take a course on it. 17 years ago, he tried it with a willing patient and was amazed at the results.
Almost everybody has been in hypnosis at one time or another.
Though a lot of doctors didn't take him or the hypnosis seriously, he's so convinced of its benefits, he offers his patients and their partners a free 6-session course during the last trimester of pregnancy and invited us to sit in on it.
Have a good time. This is the birth of your baby.
Class number 1. Dr. Goldman's goal for this first session is telling the parents-to-be what hypnosis is and is not.
The goal of this class is not painless childbirth. The goal of this class is to be in control from start to finish. I'd like you to just breathe deeply, hold it for as long as you feel
Although both
comfortable.
our couples were willing to try hypnosis, they had their doubts.
Breathing in relaxation.
I laughed for a week about it before I went in there. I walked around the house chanting for about 2 hours.
He did. I said,
I
oh,
was going
stop.
What does your sister say?
She says that she's going to call me 6 hours into my labor and that I'm going to be screaming for an epidural. She thinks I'm nuts.
I'd like you to begin to think of a very special, happy place. A place where you might go that has only happy, safe memories for you.
Myths and misconceptions aside, couples next learned how to do hypnosis themselves. They were told to pick a beautiful place, real or imagined, to focus on during labor and delivery.
And very much at ease.
I'm sitting by a stream of water and I can see the light coming in from the trees, some shade. Just a real peaceful.
Pleasant atmosphere.
Just the beach. I visualize being there with my husband and my daughter, and that's a happy place for me.
Relax.
As the process continued, the couples practiced their hypnosis, still a bit skeptical, but very hopeful.
We're
You have
hopeful.
nothing to lose. We've seen the worst. I shouldn't say the worst. It can always get worse.
Take your hand,
By the 3rd session, the couples were learning ways to get into hypnosis faster.
push your fingers together.
First-time mom Jamie used this technique.
That's perfect.
My eyes got real heavy, and when Dr. Goldman asked me to stare at a spot on my hand, it was almost like I didn't see that spot anymore. I just almost saw through my hand. My eyes just got so zoned out.
And you will feel some pressure.
By the 5th session, perhaps the most dramatic test yet. Valerie was hypnotized, and then Dr. Goldman inserted a needle in her hand.
Feel very numb, very comfortable.
My hand was very cold and it felt very light. I wasn't sure if he was holding my hand or if I was holding my hand because I couldn't feel it.
To the amazement of everyone in the room, Valerie was told she could control the pain.
Keep those vessels tightly constricted down.
Dr. Goldman removed the needle.
See every faucet turned off.
Valerie came out of hypnosis, and there was no blood.
If you can control pain and you can control bleeding, there isn't much you can't control.
I watched her hand for a flinch. It didn't flinch. Her eyes didn't flinch. She had no clue. My confidence has grown seeing that.
Even with all the preparation, as they got closer to their due dates, both couples were anxious. Valerie and Scott couldn't forget how bad their first delivery was and worried it would happen again.
I'm nervous about it.
That you'll be able to do it or going through it again?
Just that other complications won't arise as I'm trying to do my hypnosis.
For Jamie and Dawn, it was fear of the unknown.
I'm not going to be able to relax, and I'm going to be with my head spinning around, and that it's not going to work is my biggest fear.
Ever cross your mind that this could be a lot of malarkey?
Sure. It's too early to tell. We're going into this blind. And we're just hoping that it's going to work.